Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I think we have a decent enough number. The others could just catch up as we go along. So again, another pleasant good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for taking time out to participate in our webinar for today. And yeah, welcome to our 29th Tuesdays with MEFIN webinar. And for today, we're going to feature the technology-driven insurance, attitudes, behaviors, and motivations of customers, this time focusing on the study made in Indonesia. Okay. So last around 2 weeks ago, we had the same webinar, but focusing on the Philippines. And this time we're glad that we're bringing you the Indonesian version of the study. Okay, I'm Ronnie Limbago. I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. And to start off, I'd like to call on the one who's going to deliver the welcome remarks for our webinar. Actually, he's our new program director for RFPI Asia. So, but I think to some of you is already quite known. So let's welcome, excuse me, Dr. Alexander Yeager, the new program director of RFPI Asia 3 for the welcome remarks. Dr. Yeager, you have the floor, please.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. Good afternoon and a pleasant day to all. I have the pleasure to have the welcome remarks today. On behalf of the RFPI Asia team and the MEFIN network, allow me to welcome all of you to the second part of the webinar series on technology-driven insurance, attitudes, behaviors, and motivations of customers. This time, as you all know, we'll be focusing on Indonesia. As Ronnie has kindly introduced, my name is Alexander Jäger, and I have the pleasure to follow Volker Steigerwald as the Program Director of RFPI Asia from 1st September onwards. During the last 6 years at GIZ, I was heading a PPP project with Swiss Re and acted as a senior advisor for global project and strategy development on insurance at headquarters. But from now onwards, I'm very happy to have the chance to support RFPI in a leading position in the next weeks and months and years to come. Today's webinar is, as you all know, the 29th episode of the Tuesdays with MEFIN webinar initiative. And it will focus on the findings of a study on developing risk management approaches for climate and health risks in Indonesia. The study was kindly produced by a team of the public-private partnership between Allianz, BIMA, and GIZ. The very purpose of the study was to understand the attitudes and motivations and behaviors of the underserved low-income segments of society better in order to identify the challenges for acquisition, retention, and expansion for mobile insurance products and telemedicine in particular for this group. We are very fortunate that Indonesia, together with the Philippines, were included in the study, and we are very grateful that our colleagues from the sector program Insurance and the Global Initiative for Access to Insurance agreed to share the results of the study today with us. We hope that the insights and information that we will hear today will not only help to improve the design of mobile insurance and telemedicine products, but also foster better access of these products for the underserved segments of society, something which has gained more and more importance in the pandemic situation that we are currently facing. As in the webinar for last week, we included another session which we believe would be of interest to you. And this will be a part on the formalization of life insurance and hospital income benefit products based on our practical experiences from a developed PPP project here in Indonesia with AXA and Incopted. As you will later find out, our experiences in this project are very much linked to the findings and recommendations of the GIZ Alliance and BIMA study. Therefore, we believe that the two sessions today will be highly complementary and of interest to you. Already at this point, let me thank our presenters for sharing their valuable insights and taking their time off to do this. Firstly, Ms. Anna Sophia Elm, who worked intensively on this workstream in the GIZ, Allianz and BIMA team. Secondly, Ms. Ann India Fitriani and Mr. Matteo C. Tumorang of Somia Customer Experience, which conducted the study with us in Indonesia. And, of course, to Ms. Lina Fong Saat of AXA Indonesia and her colleague Auxentius Cayo Pintiro of PT Mandiri AXA General, who will present the practical experiences of the AXA Incopted Insurance Informalization Project in Indonesia. I very much hope that I pronounced the names right. With that, I wish you once again a pleasant day and a productive participation in the webinar. Thank you very much for your interest. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yeager, for your welcome remarks. Very interesting. Okay, Shine, could you move to the next slide, please? So as usual, we just go briefly over the guidelines. Basically, these are simple house rules to have a smooth and effective implementation of this webinar. First is we'd like to ask you to turn off your microphones and your webcams to conserve internet bandwidth and to allow for uninterrupted webinar. The second is for the questions. Please post them in the chat box that we have as a function here in MS Teams, and we will get them and ask your questions during the Q&A session of this webinar. The third will be the slides will be shared with you after the conduct of the webinar through email and, of course, through the MEFIN Facebook group, which is now reactivated. Okay, so Shine, the next slide, please. So we just go briefly through the agenda. We just finished with the welcome remarks and the guidance. And after that, actually, is already the meat of this webinar, which is the first portion is the insurance and telemedicine in Indonesia from 3:05 to 3:25. And then at 3:25 to 3:40, we have the practical experience sharing in the formalization of the insurance products, challenges and issues. At 3:40 to 4 o'clock, we have an open forum. This is where your questions will be asked, including those that will be sent by the chat box. And at 4 o'clock to 4:15, we have the webinar evaluation, as you want to get your thoughts and your insights regarding our webinars so that we can further improve in them, and a wrap up. Okay, so basically that's what we're going to go through today. And yes, Shine, please move to the next slide, please. And these are our presenters for today. I'd just like to introduce them to you, although I think you've seen their profiles when we were promoting the webinar. First is Ms. Anna Sophia Elm. As mentioned, she's a junior advisor from the Sector Programs, Financial Systems Development and Global Initiative for Access to Insurance of GIZ in Germany. And then from Somia, from the firm Somia, which did actually the study in Indonesia, we have Miss Anna Sophia Elm. No, sorry, there's something wrong here. I was not able to. It's sorry, it's Miss Anindia Fitrianti, who is a project lead and experienced design consultant from Sumia Customer Experience. And she will be joined in the presentation by her colleague, Mr. Mateus Situmarang, who is an experienced design consultant also from Sumia. For the practical experience sharing regarding the formalization of insurance products, we have two from our partner, AXA. First of all, we have Ms. Lina Vong Saat, the head of the Emerging Customers CEO Office of AXA Indonesia. And she will also be joined in the presentation by her colleague, Mr. Cayo Auxentius Bintoro, who is a senior manager in the Partnership and Emerging Customer, PT Mandiri AXA General Insurance of Indonesia. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are our presenters for today. And so, to start off, we'd like to go immediately into our first session, which is insurance and telemedicine in Indonesia, the key insights, behavioral types, and opportunity areas. And for that, we'd like to start off with Ms. Ana Sofia Elm to give you an introduction to the study made. Ana Sofia, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. Yes, so good morning from Germany and good afternoon to you in Indonesia. As already said, my name is Ana Sofia Elm and I'm a junior advisor with GIZ, mainly supporting the public-private partnership between GIZ, Allianz and BIMA, which is developing risk management approaches and insurability for climate and health risks. And considering the large protection gap, which is still existing, one of the partnership's goals is to gain deep customer insights in order to further develop mobile delivered insurance and value-added services like telemedicine, for example, and ultimately increase access to them. And therefore, understanding customers through research conducted prior to beginning service design is crucial, because we've figured out that most low-income customers are accessing insurance for the first time and may not understand who the insurer is, how to administer the product, or where to make claims and what the available recourse options are. It is really essential to understand their lives, needs, wishes, to really make sure that the product or service is relevant to them. And therefore, the public-private partnership takes a customer-centric business approach by responding to these challenges, gaining understanding of customer wants and needs, and designing accordingly to offer a compelling value proposition. And for this reason, we conducted customer research in different countries, namely in the Philippines, Indonesia, and Ghana. And as already mentioned in the last Tuesdays with MEFIN session, the research conducted in the Philippines has been presented. Today, we have the great opportunity to have a deep dive into the research conducted in Indonesia with the agency Sumya Customer Experience, who is kind enough to take the time to be here with us. The research gained valuable insights about the customers of mobile delivered insurance and their experiences, identified behavioral types of customers, as well as discovered opportunities to further improve the offer. So I think without further ado, Anine, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the introductions, Anna. And also for the opportunity for us to share what we learned from the projects that we did at the end of last year together with you today. So without any further ado, I will start the presentation. So next slide. So a bit introduction. So we are from Sumya Customer Experience. We are an experience design consultancy based in Indonesia and Singapore. We are helping different companies transforming insight that we learned throughout the research into a product and service innovations to help them improve and innovate further solutions for the people. So at that time, I worked on the project together with my colleague Mateus here. I think we are more or less around 2 months working on that project. So hopefully what we share today with you will be useful. Next. So there are 4 main points that we will share to you today. So we will share a bit our approach or methods that we use in the research, and then a few key insights. We can share the whole insights that we find due to the limited time, but we already picked some critical insights to share with you today. And then after that, we will also share the behavioral types that we found, and lastly, some opportunity areas that we could explore further. Next. So we will start with the approach that we use. Next. So at that time, we have an interview session, so around 90 minutes interview sessions with 20 different respondents. As you can see here, they are based in Jakarta, Bekasi, and Tangerang with different criteria. So the age from 30 to 49 with different socio-economic level from A, B, C, insurance and telemedicine users, but also the non-user. So we can gain different perspective from them. So we would like to understand better what is the reasoning, what is the barrier that make them not use it, or on the contrary, what makes them also use it. Due to pandemic, we cannot do the whole visit to all respondents. So some of them we do it remotely. As you can see here, we do a Zoom meeting together with them to ask the key questions that we would like to know. Next. So go into the insights and the recommendations. Next. So we've picked these four main key insights related to the insurance and telecom consultations that we will break down one by one. Next. Okay, so starting from the first one, so we see people actually, the different life stages affect how people adopt the insurance. Next. As you can see here, we divide into three main life stages from the young single one. The second one is the young married people with small family. And then the last one is the older, bigger family. We think that these three main is the time when their needs are anxieties or the risks are growing or getting bigger. Starting from the young single, typically this group will only focusing on the basic health insurance because also due to limited income that they have, because they usually just a fresh graduate, so the income is not that much, and then they typically also still fit, so they still that confidence, I rarely getting sick or have other needs, so they will focus on that. So like for example, one our respondent said, okay, for now I will just focus on the health insurance, but later if I have more income, then I will start to think about the life insurance. So typically people when starting to having family and children, they will start to thinking about the life insurance for their children, as well as the educations, to make sure their kids are assured having a good life and also good educations. And as they are getting older, they even getting more specific on the health insurance. As you can see here, typically people at this stage will start to think, okay, what kind of chronic illness that I need to cover for myself, or specific illness related to their background. So at this stage, the health insurance typically also expanded. And from these insights, we think about how might we help them to get the right product. Depends on their life stage, so they can get the right product based on their conditions and needs. So by helping them, I think we see this as an opportunity. Next. Okay, the second one is insurance is perceived as important, like they think it is over security both financially and emotionally, but actually some unpleasant experience hold people back. So they think it is important mostly as a protection or preventions, of course, and also as an investment. So these four main reasons are the most frequent that we usually heard from the respondents. So as protection, so also they don't want to leave burden to their family or children's. thinking about the educations, and also lastly, some of people also think to help them discipline having a saving. Next. So for the one that thinking to leave no burden, some of people that in this category usually has a certain amount of insurance benefit that they think of. Like for example, the CAC is currently she only have 3 to 400 millions rupiah, but she think actually at least she needs to have like 1 billion rupiah for her children's. What's other interesting case that we also find from the respondents from the protections and discipline in saving is actually some people have more than 2 insurance, which is not that common in Indonesia, to make sure like certain illness is covered, or they can have can do more savings, especially for the saving. What also interesting is also they typically looking for insurance that can give 100% refund at the end. Next. Okay, so typically the unpleasant experience that hold people back is these 4 main things that spread across the customer journey. So from before to after purchase. So the unmet expectations because the lack understanding of the product, and then some think that the reminder from the agents are intrusive and feel like being chased. Also, they think some agents are unreliable. So that's why actually people tend to look for agents that they already know, like for example, they are their friends already. And lastly, they think that the complicated claim process, yes. So too many documents need to be provided, and then too long time to finish the process. So we can think like how can we help them understand better about the product throughout the journey. So not only at the end, but from the beginning until the after purchase, since insurance also are a long-term commitment. Next. So the third one is we see that people see insurance is perceived wasteful if it is not fully utilized, but yet people avoid getting ill. Next. So we will always maintain our health rights. So we will working out, consume traditional herbs probably, or healthy foods, but at the same time, especially people that already have insurance, they still need to pay premium monthly, but they cannot withdraw it. So these things that sometimes makes people unsure about their decision. So like, for example, here, Johan, one of the respondents that we talked to, she already have an insurance and thinking, oh, should we just stop the insurance and just being disciplined in saving? So in case we have something or need to withdraw, we can. While in the insurance case, they cannot. Next. Next. But actually, some other people make some ways to utilize the insurance that they have. As I mentioned, they think of it as a savings and investment, while some others are try to make use the benefit, although it is not urgent. Like for example, they make sure the annual benefits are spent, like for the checkup, the glasses, or the dental treatment. I think the learning or a key interesting point that we can learn from this is how might we help the customer feel the benefit, even though they are not getting ill. So how can we reframe this perspective about insurance? Not only can we use doing the bad time happen, but also doing you are good, you are for other stuff. Next. So we would like to share these 2 interesting case studies related to that. So the first one is Halodoc. It is one of the telemedicine apps here in Indonesia. So for the Halodoc, they have these features that connect you to the insurance company. So you can buy the medicines and pay your teleconsultations using your insurance benefit for the payment methods. While the other one, FWD Max, they have this app to digitalize the process of the insurance, and also to give they also have this point system where you can redeem the points for other stuff like such as the food and beverage, the shopping, traveling. So it can make people start to think that, oh, I can use the insurance not only when I'm getting sick or something that happened to me. So I think these two is interesting case studies that for we can use for our inspirations. Next. So the fourth insights about teleconsultations will be shared by Mateus. Please, Mateus.
Yeah, thank you, Anindya. So our last findings that we want to share to you is about teleconsultation. So there's increased usage of teleconsultation and telemedicine during a pandemic. However, it still has limitation, and therefore it will not fully replace doctor visits, at least for now. And as we can see here, this is the journey of a patient. And as you can see, the telemedicine cover mostly on the beginning of the journey. For example, when you start funny symptoms, and then you look for initial diagnosis and treatment. For example, we have our respondent here, Annie. So she was pregnant at the time, and she constantly worried about her condition, and she felt sick, and she afraid that she might have a miscarriage at the time. But the doctor's clinic is quite far from her location, so she used HaloDoc to find out what she's supposed to do that will comfort herself before going to the hospital. So we can see here, telemedicine is quite useful, and most of our respondents, if not getting well for certain days, then they start to go to the doctor, and then they will get hospitalized if the condition is getting worse. So we can see here, telemedicine is quite important, quite useful to help people access faster and cheaper health facilities. And therefore, we need to look for opportunities. How can we help people, increase people's trust toward telemedicine? Because people still not used to using that. Okay, next. We have shared you 4 key insights, and we would like to also share to you behavioral types that we found from our respondents. And if we can go to the next slides, we have mapped it into 5. We have 5 different behavioral types that we derive from our respondents. We map them based on their frequency of visits and the insurance ownership. For the next slides, we have 5 criteria. Next. So the first behavioral type is the prudent survivor. They are people who has a limited budget and access to access health facilities. So therefore, they look for alternatives to maintain their health. For example, they consume traditional medicines. They do traditional therapy. They have a stronger needs to insurance. However, they don't have enough budget to obtain one. The second one is the insurance upgrader. They already have understand the value of the insurance. They have typically have more than 3 insurance. However, it's difficult for them to maintain all of the insurance in one place, because each insurance company's insurance policy has different coverage, and therefore it is very difficult for them to know which policies cover which coverage. So they have budget, but they're still quite complicated for them to have all of them. And the third one is the proactive warrior. They constantly cautious about their condition, mostly because they have critical chronic illness, or for example, they have a newborn, they're just starting a family, so they have they're more willing to look for information, trusted sources to help them maintain their health. So their bigger needs is not to insurance, but to information related to health. The fourth one is the fit and confidence. So they are a healthy and active person. They don't have any critical sickness. As a consequence, they don't really need to visit the doctor. They aware the needs of insurance, but they just go for the basic one because they're still healthy enough. So their focus right now is mostly about to maintain their productivity. So how to being healthy and active to pursue their dream. The last one is the one is quite unique. So the upset self-made, they have a bad insurance experience previously. So they decide to quit. They don't want to get in touch with insurance at all because they already have enough budget to pay the hospital bill. So the focus is for this behavioral types is how to maintain again their trust because they have actually needs to go to the doctor, they have a need for the insurance, but because the bad experience and also they have enough budget to cover the bill, they don't really need the insurance. So if you can see, the more you go to the left, the needs toward insurance is getting bigger, but with several challenges. Meanwhile, with when you go the more you go to the right, the needs toward insurance is less and less, and therefore we need to offer a different offering for them. Go to the next slide. We have opportunity areas here, and then next we go. We share you a key insights recap. There are 4 key insights, and each key insight develop opportunity areas in the next slides. So the just to recap again, the opportunity area is the first one is we know insurance product is complicated, complex. People rely so much to agent to explain the product. So our opportunity is how can we help customer understand the insurance product better before and after the purchase. And then the second one is we know that the needs is changing along the way. The young people and older people have different needs, and how can we help the customers obtain the protection, the insurance they need anytime, anywhere. The third one is we know we have to pay insurance premium monthly, but no one want to get ill. So how can we still have the benefit of insurance if we don't get ill? The fourth one is there's a lot of hoax right now, especially during pandemic. So we need to help how a customer find relevant and trusted information about health because it affects how they access insurance and healthcare facilities. And then the last one is we already see that telemedicine is quite important for people to access cheaper, faster. But then again, not all people use telemedicine, so therefore they feel telemedicine is robotic. Some people telemedicine is not trusted as their current doctor. So how might we help increase people's trust toward telemedicine? Out of this opportunity area, we have several suggestions, which in the next slides. The first one is the insurance company, and we need to educate the customer and accompany them after the purchase. So because again, currently the insurance policy is really complex and complicated, so we have to accompany them afterwards after the purchase. And the second one is to help customer access the right product at the right time. How can they upgrade their policies faster, better, so they don't have to look for another brands? How can they, for example, even pause the policies if, let's say, during pandemic they don't have enough money because of they get fired from the job, so they don't have to quit, but they just pause the insurance policy. And the third one is to change how we speak because our respondents say that the insurance company tend to talk negatively. They go more on the prevention. What if you get what if you die tomorrow and your kids, what happened to your kids? But instead, we need to talk more positively, how insurance company can help our users, customers to be more productive and to pursue the dream. And the fourth one is to establish integrated telemedicine services. So if you can see in the previous slides, telemedicine right now is mostly in the beginning of the journey. But how can we establish integrated services seamlessly so your user can still have the same service, same experience with a high quality right from beginning to hospitalization. And the last one is to build trust through consistent and personal approach, because our respondents mostly said that, or they know insurance mostly because their friend recommend it. So how can we create more meaningful relationship with customers, not just from brands to the users? So that's all from us. So we have shared you all of the key insights and the opportunity areas and some of our suggestions. So we hope that our sharing today we can help you find a new ideas and can spark discussion to help improve your product or your services. Thank you from us. I think that's it. See you. Or if you have a question, please write it down on the chat. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Anin and Mateus, for your very interesting presentation. I'm sure questions will be sent very soon to our chat box, given the information that you gave. And so now we proceed to the next session of our webinar, and that is the practical experience sharing in the formalization of insurance products, well, the challenges and issues. And for this, as mentioned already earlier, we have our colleagues from AXA Indonesia, Mrs. Lina Wongsaat and Mr. Auxentius Cayo Bintoro. And in order, I think ladies first, it will be Miss Lina who will be doing the presentation. So you have the floor, Miss Lina.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks everyone, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to share with you our experience with GIZ and Incupdate. So just to set a bit the scene and give you a bit of context. So we have in AXA entered a 3 years public-private partnership with GIZ and Incupdate. Our ambitions and our vision was to help them to formalize their existing and in-house insurance products. Incupdate actually is a kind of, it's a credit union, and it's a kind of communities of very different cooperatives, small cooperatives scattered around Indonesia, so from very Aceh to Papua. And they have actually today more than 3 million members. And they are spread around 900 cooperatives throughout the country. So our ambition was really to help these cooperatives, this big community of cooperatives, to not only formalize their existing insurance, which was primarily credit life, so how to protect the loans, but actually to also embark them in our journey on emerging customers, which was to provide them more and more, depending on where they are at their life stage, where they are in terms of type of customers, archetype, more and more comprehensive insurance protections and more value-added services. So I think to kind of, rebound on what was presented before, we aimed at providing them outside credit life, but also solutions towards health, towards life, towards climate, with agriculture insurance, but also to more mobile health, which is one of the big also stream that we have as a priority. So today we just want to provide you a bit of feedback on the incredible journey we've been through We learned a lot. We met a lot of people, both from the credit unions, but also directly from the customers, to hear what they needed, what they were facing, what was the reality of their lives, so that we could really help to design something that matched what they needed. But also the challenges that we have been facing, probably which has been even stronger with the COVID, which hit us and everybody, of course, last year. But still the challenges that we have in front of us in the last year of the PPP that we have all together. So I will just leave the floor to Chayo, my colleague, so that he's going to walk you through in more details around the different topics and experiences we wanted to share with you today. Chayo, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Lina, for your time, and thank you for opening this presentation. Today, we would like to share the experience of collaborating with the Incopdit in the context of the formalizing the product for their in-house insurance, which is included in the PPP project that already mentioned by Lina before. There are 4 agendas that we want to share right now. First is how to build the trust. I think this is also the important ones when we do before the partnership with them. And the second is our approach in the product cycle. Third is our challenge to keep the business sustained. And the last is the expected benefit from this project to each parties. Okay, we can go to the next slide. And how to build the trust. Why it is important to build and increase the trust among the credit union? Because of the credit union might not have a familiar experience with the insurance. For some, maybe it is the first time they work with the insurance company. As we know, the credit union is one of the financial institution work in some rural area. Hence, it is important to make them understand the journey that we enter together and be their partners along this journey to provide them the trust and the confidence. I give the sample when I remember when we do the socialization in some area. They mentioned about their experience working with the insurance company. Their experience is very simple, can describe only with a single phrase, I think. Easy to in but hard to exit. It means easy to pay the premium to insurance company, but hard to pay the claim to the customer. Also, the other comment for the some credit union is they mistrust with the insurance company because there are some insurance company in Indonesia right now is not in a good condition. So when we do the socialization and communicate with the credit union, we have to to make sure and to mention who is the AXA, how strong AXA in Indonesia. I think this is natural because credit union have to make confidence and safe when they have the work or partnership with the insurance company. So this is our right time to show how the insurance work with the right way. So this is one of our challenge when we communicate with the credit union. When we look the steps, the step on how we build the trust. First is with join the roadmap to grow together. We set the milestone and agreed by all the parties during the partnership period, which can be aligned with the pace of the collaboration to move hand in hand and by considering each other needs and challenges. The milestone is become our guideline during the collaboration, just like we need the guideline and then we through one by year to do the partnership. And the second is the co-design the value proposition. In this step, we conducted the focus group discussion to see the condition and collect the information or input from credit union members to Incopdit. Why? To see their needs and purchase capability. So when we do the co-design, the value proposition can match with their needs and bring the flexibility on the process and system to adapt and balance between the credit union and their members. We did the FGD in the 3 areas, first in Bandung, then Pasar, also in Maumere. And the next step is provide additional value and services. We differentiate and provide more value to the credit union's member through several things that we have done through financial literacy, we did the TOT for the micro insurance to 200 facilitators that we are expected that they will share the information about the macro insurance among the credit union members. In this case, we did also in the 4 cities, the TOT in Jakarta, Bandung, Denpasar, also in the Maumere. For the other is related with the product that we have developed, like a parametric product that Lina already mentioned at the beginning, and also for the digital health. And the last is communication. I think this is also the important things. After we are completed on the setting the milestone, product, and process, the next step is to conduct regular communication. When we do the socialization to group, the socialization to credit unions before we onboarded them, we have to explain the objective of the formalization. We explain the product, also the process. Why it is like important that we will need to make them trust and also confident with us and also confident with what we are doing in the formalization of the in-house insurance. On the post onboarded, we communicate to them about the claim experience and to show how the claim is worked and hope we can change their mind on the easy to in and hard to exit, because we show that the claim is works with us. For your information, for the 2 years experience, we paid the claim amount higher than the premium that we are collected until now. Okay, and the last, we also held the press event regarding this partnership. I hope this event can make them more confident that we are working with AXA, also with the Incomplete. Yeah, we do the virtual conference and press release to the journalists with the printing and also digital newspaper. Okay, please to next slide. Okay, on our approach in the product cycle, basically the products that we have developed is following the needs of the credit union member that we are collected in a focus group discussion. First is the product base. Our credit life as the mandatory product and bundled with their loans. Why we start with the credit life? Because this is the most common product and the main emergency for the incomplete. As the most important portfolio is a loan, yeah, for the incomplete. And then for the credit union members, also that they understand basically that they are protected, even they are protected by the in-house insurance product, yeah, from the Daparma. If something happened with them, with the customer, then the loan will be paid off by the Daparma. The customer or the complete members already understand about this. I think this is a good way to introduce the insurance before we go to the next stage. Okay, and then the second, we develop the simple voluntary. In this stage, we extend to introduce the protection to protect the family members there through the term life and the health product. That those product is appear in our FGD, and then because of one their need is the concern on their healthy condition, so we should provide the health product in this case. And the third is we provide and we enter to the advanced voluntary product. The product is covered the specific need, like the motor vehicle or the motorcycle. I think this is the biggest part is for the motorcycle. And then for the assets like a house, because in some area like in the entity, this product, I mean for the house protection, it can be useful to protect them from the hurricanes like last year. Yeah, these products are fully voluntary product for the credit union, because of for the second, the simple voluntary, some of the corporate is selected this product to their members. And then for the advanced voluntary, at the third state, it is a fully voluntary for the credit union member. Okay, please go to the next slide. Okay, this is our challenge. Yeah, after 2 years working with the incomplete, we have faced some challenge. First is about the low insurance knowledge. law insurance and understanding on the needs of insurance. This is what I mean. And for the sample that we did in FGD, when we asked the people how to protect themselves when something happened in their families, insurance does not come as their solution. They only do like pray, and then they don't talk about this, and because they're afraid this bring bad luck, and then they rely on the community and their relative. So there's no formal mechanism to solve this problem for their solution. So in these cases, we can make some conclusion that the law, the awareness and understanding about the needs of the insurance. The other one is to change the management and their mindset from the informal product to the formal product, especially when we talk about the insurance principle and the risks. Yeah. The other is about the governance decentralization. Sometimes decentralized condition is, we call it the characteristic condition in the credit union. This is also a natural condition in credit union. The credit union and the secondary cooperative, we call it the push cooperative, have the independence or autonomous decision to make their own decision. Looking at this condition, like our experience, even the incorporate already make some decision. They cannot push to the secondary or push cooperative, also the credit union. So when we are doing the negotiation, socialization, we take some times to get the decision to the push cooperative level, and then get the decision to cooperative level or the credit union level. So this will be impact to us on the slow speed to the market and also slow to scale up the business. Currently, after 2 years working with them, we only onboarded 26 credit union among around the 800 union in the incorporate, and we are only protected 19.7 thousand customer or credit unions member. And then the last is about the change management. This is the best that for the change management in product and processes, because they're comparing the existing informal product and its process. They always talk about the informal product comparing with the formal product, because this informal product is like a solidarity product. There's no underwriting. They covered everything without the exclusion. The rate is very low. So this is like for us is the price sensitive is too high. Yeah, they look on the cheapest product. They always look the cheapest rate, while not thinking about the sustainability of their business. I think this is also related to the lack of the insurance knowledge for them. Okay, and then please go to the next slide. The last slide is about the expected benefit from our partnership with the Incopdit. So far, after 2 years working with them, we can identify the benefit from each parties. First is for the Incopdit. They can provide the holistic protection and services to their members with the formal product and sustainable insurance business. And then for the members of the credit union, I think this is the important one, because the important is the access to holistic and the sustainable protection outside the loan protection. And then with this stage, we provide the voluntary product. They can protect their family members, also their special needs. And for the credit union or the cooperative itself, it will increase their value to their members, also provide some optimized processes. And then for the AXA itself, we believe after 3 years partnership, it will have the impact, maybe not as a big impact that we are expected, but we can contribute to the financial inclusion in Indonesia and start to protect the segment who is under the served today. Okay, this is our experience working with the Incopdit in the PPP project with the GIZ. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Tayo and Miss Lina. Okay, you gave quite a wealth of information regarding certain issues and challenges, and I think that's very much appreciated. So now we go into the open forum, or what we call the question and answer portion. Okay, and as we mentioned a while ago, you could send your questions via chat, and so far we have two. And I would like to ask these questions already. If you have questions, please send them via chat also, or you may just raise your hand and we will, of course, call on you to give your question. So the first question is actually from one of our presenters, Miss Lina, and it's directed towards our colleagues from the SOMIA. And this is the question. Excuse me. For telemedicine, insurance can be a very powerful brick to help people finance their health needs, okay, in case teleconsultation cannot answer their needs. From my experience, when offering insurance via telemedicine provider, people would like insurance to be paid per use, just like telemedicine. How can we overcome this challenge? And this question is directed and can be answered by either Anin or Mateus.
Okay, thank you for the questions. I think from our point of view, I think one way to overcome this is refer back to the insights that we shared previously. I think one of the key points is like how to change people perceptions toward insurance, because like we shared previously, now they are still thinking that insurance is wasteful sometimes, because I mean, you need to have a long commitment on that, but you can only use it like like very rarely, right? And at that time when you use it, it is only when bad thing happens, I think. So by trying to change those people perceptions, so not you, that you can also use the benefit not only during your bad times. So trying to go beyond the coverage, offering beyond coverage, of that they can also use it for like the FWD Max case earlier, like you can also use it for buying some stuff, or you can also redeem it for your daily needs or lifestyle. So I think that one way that we can do to overcome that, because yeah, you need to convince them to feel that, okay, even though you still need to pay it monthly, not by per use, you still worth it. Like it is still worth it. I think another way to do it is also, as we shared earlier, is to integrate it, the telemedicine and insurance journey, so they have more opportunities to use it. Like for the halodoc cases, you do the telemedicine, but you pay it with your insurance, so you use it, right? So this, like starting new habits, new way to use insurance. So hopefully it can start to change people mind and think that it's still worth it to pay it monthly, with the benefit that the insurance now can over, or we can over further later. I think that from my side, hopefully it's answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Anin. I hope that answers your question, Miss Lina. Okay, and yes, please.
No, thanks. I guess, yes, I think this is one of the big challenge, right? Because from my experience in also some of the solutions that we have launched on the market, if you offer telemedicine as an added value service, is saying like, look, if you are not using your insurance, you can use something else as part of it. That is working well. And this is why we are talking about value-added services. The challenge comes that at a point, some people will say like, okay, I can use the telemedicine and the insurance, actually, I'm not using it, so I'm just gonna stop paying for it. And so then they are not protected anymore. So definitely this is also a big challenge that we are facing. But I agree on the first part, trying to find solutions where people can, feel that if they don't use it, they can get something out of it. They can redeem or through lifestyle stuff. The main challenge is then, as you said, for the low-income populations, then it comes towards insurance is not a social security scheme from the government, right? It has to fly at a point, so you cannot just do it at zero cost. So that's a bit the challenge that we are facing today. But thanks for the answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Lin, for that, and also for providing your insights. I am sure our participants would also find that very valuable. Okay, so the next question is again directed to Ms. Anin and Mr. Mateus, and it's from my colleague, Dante Portula. The question is, did you find a correlation of customers' attitude and behavior to the approach used by insurers, such as the conventional insurance or takaful?
Okay, thank you for the questions, Mr. Dante. Can you please elaborate what you mean by the conventional approach? Maybe you can give some examples.
Dan, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mateus. I mean, it's actually particular to the Indonesian environment that insurance approach is either a conventional insurance from commercial companies or using the so-called takaful or the Islamic based insurance principles. So because the presentations you mentioned something about you know the hesitation of customers to continue in the insurance journey if they feel they don't benefit from the initial participation. So I'm just reflecting whether in the research there is this kind of discussion that they would prefer more of the approach of Islamic insurance. We call it takaful, where members they share the risk and they also share the benefits if the fund grows over time. So unlike for a conventional insurance that they buy an insurance protection, if if something happens, well, an insurance company is obliged to pay a claim. But if nothing happens, then this amount, the called premium, is kept by the insurance company, and it's not given back to the customers. So this kind of different approach to insurance, Islamic principle versus a commercial conventional insurance approach, whether this has been discussed or analyzed in the research.
Okay, thank you for clarifying, Mr. Dante. So we don't interview respondents who use takaful, and we also don't have we don't specifically find the user who have takaful, and also all respondents don't have a specific like joint saving insurance, something like takaful. But I think one thing that you said previously is you said that if the premium, they have already paid the premium, and then at certain points, if they don't claim the premium, they will get the money back, right? So I think there's concern about that. So and India already share about the discipline saving. So they also, because they think their money is wasteful if not utilized in the youth insurance, they most of our respondents that have like more than 3 insurance, especially they look for insurance that can be retrieved later if they don't claim it. So there's a needs of that. So it's not always it's not because they're takaful, but because they don't want to get cheated of the insurance. They don't want it to be wasteful. We will say there's a good response towards that, and that kind of insurance help them to discipline themselves. So they see it as investment, just like Ani shared before. They pay premium for certain duration, let's say 10 years or 5 years, and then they will get the money. And yeah, of course, some of them, I think there's the insurance name for that. Yeah, unit link. They also aware of the unit link, and it's quite work for some people. Yeah, I think is this answer your question, Mr. Dante?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mateus. I think that was clear. And also as an insurance provider, I think this provides them, an insight on which product could fit in those savings link insurance products might answer those behaviors that you described.
Yeah. Oh, so just to add something, so the takaful is, yeah, the concept of takaful is basically the joint insurance, if I'm not mistaken. We
Correct.
also
Correct.
ask them feedback about the joint insurance, where they can have one insurance policy, let's say for 3 or 4 people. Actually, uh, they don't get the ideas, because I mean, yeah, Indonesia, just like Mr. Cahyo said before, it's a bad luck to talk about sickness or illness, right? And you don't know when you will get ill. So let's say you have joint insurance with your friends, and then your friends like getting sick like 3 times or 4 times, and you don't get sick. So it's quite unfair for them for that also.
Yeah. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. So I think we have time for 2 more questions, and these are the next 2 ones. The next one is from Mr. Greg Barrios. Good afternoon, Mr. Barrios. And the question again is directed to Anin and Mateus. Okay, this is it. Thank you for the presentation, Ms. Anin, Mr. Mateus. Just to give highlights, hindrances for the success of telemedicine insurance include poorer quality of care, privacy issues, and difficulty using technology for the target market. On this aspect, what are the situations in Indonesia given emphasis to these 3 factors?
Okay, thank you for the question. So I think for this point, most people in Indonesia still really rely on the agent performance. That's why, as I mentioned earlier, so they typically looking for the agents that they already know. So either they are their friends, or they are their family, or they already know the performance of the agents earlier, because when they are having these difficulties throughout the process, they will contact them and asking for help. Like for example, also why starting from the friend circles or people that they already know. Like for example, in the beginning of the journey, when they try to understand the product, they some of them actually prefer to have it a direct meeting and would like to show the evidence. So explaining the process and show the evidence. Okay, this is the simulations, this is the example from the previous like the other like the customers also. So it's also in a way for them to gain those trust and during the process. So, and also to minimize the care, the poor care, quality of care that you mentioned, as they find it, oh, they already people that I know that I can trust, so they less likely to do a bad service for me, or they will likely to help me when I need some help throughout the journey. I think that could one of the key things that we see. Do you would like to add maybe something, Mateus?
Yeah, thank you, Anin. So, for I think out of the 3 factors, we will say the privacy issues is still not a concern in Indonesia, at least for now, from our respondents that we talked to. And also difficulty of using technology. We think Indonesia right now is due to a lot of startups and high adoption of mobile telephone is not really quite a problem. And then the poor quality of care, just like Anin mentioned before, is not really a quite problem. The problem mostly about to access the high quality of the care, but whenever where they have access to that, is still a decent service for them. So I think that's from our answer. Is it answer the questions, Mr. Craig?
Mr. Barrios, did you get clarification on that? Okay, he did. He said, thank you, Miss Annie and Mr. Mateus. And now I'd like to call on Miss Dr. Yeager. I think he has a question. So Alexander, please give your question.
Okay, thank you so much. So a brief question to the AXA team, but firstly, thanks so much for sharing your experience and joining Incopted and GIZ on this journey. I understand that it's not a really easy business with price sensitivities on the one hand and not so pleasant loss ratios on the other hand. But two brief questions. With respect to the slide product cycle, which stages do you think need the biggest support? So which type of product needs the most support? And secondly, in general, how much of a need for the formalization of insurance products beyond Incopted do you see in the Indonesian market? Thanks very much.
Yes, thanks a lot for your questions. Allow me to answer, and Chayo, feel free to jump in. In terms of product cycle, I think where it requires the most effort is when we are offering voluntary solutions to really cater their needs. Because, you know, at the end, providing credit life is just a matter of price war, right? And you will always find some insurers which are trying to go to the cheapest, but sometimes it also comes with some of the risks that they don't pay claims, and actually this is what happened to some of the cooperatives that we met. So I don't think that it is a big challenge there, because anyway, it's going to be mandatory. It's kind of to support the financial institutions. Where I feel it's very complicated, it's on voluntary basis, and to explain to them that yes, they need to protect their health, because this is something top of mind. They know it, but either they don't want to talk about it because they are scared, or they feel that they have paid for insurance but they never used it, so they don't want to, you know, go back to that. So I think there is a lot of educations to be made. Of course, from the insurer side, we also need to design products in a different way, talk about it in a different way with a different language. But still, that's going to take time. And more particularly when we were talking about weather insurance for farmers, this is where definitely they are asking, yes, please help, but then insurance for agriculture might not be seen as the easiest solutions for them. So it's a lot of challenge on that front. Then in terms of where are the support needed for formalizations, I think it's definitely, I think there is a lot of work to be done on the formalizations, but from what I have seen in the credit unions, in the MFIs, and the rural banks, I think there is also some work to be done on providing more value to the people. So for example, if it's just loans, provide more than loans, so more than covering the financial institutions, and trying really to protect at the end the members, because sometimes they might not even know that they are protected and that they are paying insurance for that. So yeah, I think that would be my answer. Chayo, you want to add anything?
No, Lina, I think it's enough.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, very much so. Very interesting on the products and the question how to serve our customers the best. I think it's it's an ongoing open question that we'll have to tackle. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's already 4:17, but we still do have 2 more questions, so bear with us if we extend for another 10 minutes for the webinar. I hope it's okay with all of you. The next question is again from Dante for Tula. Okay, thank you, Lina and Kayo, for the excellent summary of experience of the PPP project. Is there some recent initiative or regulation from OJK to encourage formalization?
Lately, from OJK, it was not towards microinsurance, but OJK has issued a new regulations to be effective in October, which kind of restrict the ability to distribute insurance, meaning that if you are not a financial institutions or you are not a broker, then you cannot promote, market, collect the premiums, handle the claims for an insurance company. So I think this is I think you can see it on 2 sides. It can be good and bad, but basically it kind of become a bit stricter on who has the ability to offer insurance in Indonesia. Towards microinsurance per se, not yet, and not that I have heard about. So we are still relying on the previous circular from 2017. Yeah.
Okay.
Chayo, you want to add?
Yes, I will add something, yeah, Alina, and thank you, Dante, for your question. I think the regulation from OJK is not to recent initiative, because this is like the long time regulation, like to regulate the insurance business. Yes, in this regulation, this they can it stated that the company who can do the insurance business, yeah, in this case, so the others company is not included in this regulator. It cannot be doing like the insurance, like the in-house insurance, like the Perma, maybe some cooperative doing their own insurance, yeah. So I think this is the right time that the other institution maybe can follow or obey with this regulation. But from the regulator itself, I not see some like specific effort like to make the other organization like a Perma for like another cooperative doing or follow the regulation. Yeah, Dante. I think this is the some additional from me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lina. Thank you, Kaya. I'm
Okay,
just
thank you
thinking
very
maybe
much.
from the experience of our project, maybe we can share in written form our lesson. We maybe influence OJK to this direction of kind of regulating informal insurance. But let's discuss it more in the project management meeting.
Yeah, sure, Dante.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And now we have the last question. And this is coming from my colleague also, Jimmy Loro. And it's directed to Anin and to Mateus. So thank you for the presentation. It is interesting to note that cultural aspect that influences clients' behaviors towards buying insurance, such as not talking about it or praying. How do you approach this concern in advocating financial literacy, particularly that they may not use this service? So any thoughts on this, Anin and Mateus?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Jimmy. Just to note, we don't have a specific research objective related to advocating financial literacy. So we cannot answer this directly based on our insights research. But from our experience talking with the users, especially when they talk with talking about financial. So again, that's why in the insights we recommend to change how the insurance companies speak. So instead of talking about what happened if you die and you have to leave your kids, we need to sell insurance into a more positive way. let's say, help them to achieve dreams, how to have more active lifestyle, and then to uh, to create something meaningful instead of talking what negative things can happen with you when purchasing the insurance. I think that's it from me. Maybe Anin, you can add something to this.
No, I think yeah, it's more or less like what Teus already shared. So to change how we speak to them, so they have like a new or different perspective or point of view towards insurance.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And yes, we'd like to thank our participants for the questions asked, and also, of course, to our presenters for capably answering those questions. I know we've gone over time, but we still have one more thing to do after the open forum, and that's the evaluation of the webinar. Shine, please. Shine is, I think, just shared with you the link for the Menti evaluation. So it would be appreciated if you could go to the link and we could start the evaluation. Okay. So the first question is, were you able to understand how attitudes, behaviors, and motivations affect the design of mobile-based insurance products and telemedicine? Well, particularly for the underserved sector, the low-income sector. So we have a race of, okay, all 8, 9, yes. That's very good. Okay. So I think 9 said yes, and thank you very much. We're happy for that. To the second question, Shine. How relevant were the information and insights provided in the webinar to you? So how relevant basically were the information and insights for today? Okay, so we're having a good race between very relevant and relevant, with relevant still leading. Okay, and okay, from the 11 respondents we have so far, 7 found it relevant, very relevant, sorry, and 4 relevant. So it's still a very good evaluation. Thank you. Next, Shine. Identify 3 of the most important solutions presented or opportunities presented to acquire and retain low-income customers for mobile insurance products and telemedicine. This is multiple choice, and it's on the 5 opportunities that were presented previously by Anin and Mateo. So it's multiple choice. You could choose a maximum of 3. Which you think are the most important given the situation right now? Okay. So we have helping them accessing the right product at the right time as the top answer, followed closely by intensive consumer education campaigns. Okay, I think the same thing also happened in Manila, and the rest actually are almost even for 5, 6. Okay, still going. Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. And we can continue answering if you want, but it already gives us a good feedback on what are the most important solutions for you. And the last one, in terms of the formalization of insurance products for the low-income sector, what measures would you suggest to address the current challenges they face? You could just write it down. So we have one here, exchange with OJK. You could write anything that comes into your mind that may address the current challenges they face. Still involving OJK, documentation of best practices and advocacy. Simple products with low premium. This is specific to the product insurance and the insurance products. Let's just give it more a minute. Maybe some are still thinking. Simple KYC or know your customer to ease enrollment. That's good. Miss Lina has to leave. So anyway, thank you very much, Miss Lina, for your time and your presentation. Much appreciated. Advocacy on OJK on formalization by documenting sharing good practices, the same as the second answer. Advocacy from OJK that the importance of formalization and law enforcement. Okay, still involving OJK. You could continue writing, but at least this gives us already an idea of what you think. Okay, so thank you very much to the participants who were able to answer the Menti evaluation. Okay. So with that, yeah, we come to a close of our webinar for today. And I know we went 15 minutes over time. Our apologies for that, but we were having such a good exchange, particularly in the question and answer portion. So yeah, to the participants, we thank you for taking time to participate in our webinar. Hope we could see you again. And of course, to our presenters, Miss Anin, Mr. Mateus, Pakayo, and of course to Miss Lina who just left. Thank you for sharing your valuable time with us, and we hope that we would have you once again in a similar initiative. With that, again, I'd like to greet everyone a good day and stay safe always. Okay. Thank you again very much.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.